Welcome to the November edition of the Commodore Computer Show. There's two items that have turned up during the month, and we'll have a look at those. This one here is from Japan, quite exciting, and this one here is from a local op shop here in New Plymouth. We also have, actually you might have noticed, also behind me, the usual Commodore 64 games wall is no longer there right now because I'm going to be doing some maintenance on the different tapes and pretty much getting to look like this, replacing the dual cases and also put them into these little retail wraps as well. So when they're on display at the Commodore Computer Museum, then they'll be in perfect condition, and just to showcase them and to protect them as well. And we'll also look at the top 10 Commodore 64 and Amiga games for November 1988. That's the top 10 selling games of both machines for that month according to Gallup UK. And as usual, we'll look at Commodore in the movies and on TV. This is where Commodore Computers has a cameo on a TV program or on a movie. And today we'll be looking at NCIS Los Angeles. And this is where the Commodore 64 is holding the fate of the world in its 64 kilobytes of processing power. Well, you get the idea. A great episode and great cameo of the Commodore 64 as well. And finally we'll look at the roundup of Commodore Computer related videos that have been uploaded to YouTube during the month of November, and with links in the description below for each one as well. So let's get started right now. Very well packaged, which is really great to see. What is it? Is it a Commodore 64? Is it a VIC-20? We'll have a look in a second. But first of all, I just want to show you this cool little thing. Here's a cool little scale model of a Mercedes. What's in this? This is something very, very special. This is a Commodore VIC 1001. This is the Commodore VIC-20 made for Japan. Now there's a couple of interesting things about this Commodore VIC-20. Well, first of all, it's still got its plastic on the spacebar, and that's pretty cool. And it's actually really good condition. A little bit of cleanup, but I'll do a special video on this because this is the Japanese version of the Commodore VIC-20, and I don't know if you can see the Japanese symbols or katana. I can't remember how to pronounce that. So I'll do a special video on this machine. We'll fire it up as well, and we'll check out the Japanese characters on the keys as well and on the screen. It's going to be pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. So the serial number on this one here is 101777. It's November 1988. Animal print, shoulder pads and bulky sweaters are in. Kokomo by the Beach Boys from the movie Cocktail starring Tom Cruise is number 1 at the charts in the US. Jeff Goldblum and Jenna Davis get married. Wait a tick, I didn't even know they were married. Land Before Time is the highest grossing movie of the month at the box office, and these were the top 10 selling games for Commodore 64 according to Gallup UK for the month of November 1988. At number 10, Rally Driver. Released by Alternative Software, and it was touted as the first true rally simulator. At number 9, Peter Beardsley's Football. Released in 1988 and was based around the former English player Peter Beardsley, this side-on soccer game ain't too bad. At number 8, Battleship. Developed by Elite and published by Epic. This game was based on the board game of the same name. Number 7, Gauntlet. 100 levels of hordes of enemies in this slick arcade conversion by Mindscape Incorporated. At number 6, Hawkeye. Thalamus released Hawkeye in 1988 as a cyborg action platformer. And number 5, Football Manager 2. The sequel by Addictive Games was released in 1988. Bombjack. This is the arcade conversion by Elite Systems. Did you enjoy this game? Let me know in the comments below. And number 3, Tracksuit Manager. Another soccer game. They were popular in the UK, weren't they, back in the 1980s. This was released by Goliath Games in 1988. And number 2, Daley Thompson Olympic Challenge. Released in 1988 by Ocean Software, this game was a real workout. Grab me my Lucasade please, Daley. For number 1 at the month of November 1988 was Barbarian 2. So this here was advertised at the local op shop, which is called a hospice shop here in New Zealand. Earlier this week I went to the hospice shop to pick up the Commodore 64 box. I have no idea what's going to be in it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So I just picked up the Commodore 64 with a few items in here. Looking forward to getting it back to the Commodore room to see what's in it. That's actually the first game I ever got, Metro Blitz. That's pretty cool. Commodore 64 setup. And interesting. You can see actually the colour difference between the top. Oh, that's actually mainly dirt actually, and the bottom. The serial number on this one here is, well, it says 005995, but it's not a silver label. NCIS Los Angeles, Season 9, Episode 7, the Silo episode. A nuclear missile silo is taken over in this adrenaline-packed episode. What makes this episode even more exciting, at least to fellow Commodore aficionados, is the glimpse into the workings of a modern nuclear missile silo. This is set in 2018, and look what's running the nuclear control center, a couple of Commodore 64s. It turns out in 2018, all America needed to control their nuclear control centers were a couple of Commodore 64s, and why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if all you need is 64 kilobytes to control your nuclear arsenal, save money, don't upgrade. At least you know there won't be any viruses and there won't be any need for software updates. The Commodore 64s in this case were of course just used as props. They've been debadged. Most likely the producers of the show weren't trying to assume that the nuclear arsenal was controlled by 8-bit technology, even though it's the best technology. But it's always nice to see Commodore cameos in modern programs. Here we have Metro Blitz. This is the very first game I ever got for my Commodore 64. I loved that game. I thought it was Space Invaders at home. Very, very cool. Shadow Fire. Never actually played that game before. We've got the 1531 data set, but interestingly, the connection for the data set goes into the bus for the C16. It has this little adapter, so you can actually plug it into Commodore 64 or the VIC-20. So there's quite a few games in here, but I'll just quickly go through them. We've got They Sold a Million. It's a great compilation tape. It's got Jesset Willie, I know it's got Beachhead, Staff Carniff, some of my favourites is there. Mission, oh cool, I don't actually have this one. Mission Impossible 2. V, awesome 80s, pretty sure it was 80s, TV series. We've got Graham Gooch's cricket, Test Cricket. All-time favourite, well, one of all-time favourites, Combat School. Kettle, an unusual in the game, eh? You're actually a pot or a kettle, logically. It's a platform game. Very unusual. Silu, not played that game before. Galaxy Birds, Zub. She looks a bit like Boba Fett. Bit of a rip-off there, I think. The Curse of Sherwood. We've got Zone Ranger. And electrics. Most of these games I've not actually played before. And then we've got another compilation tape. This one here, it's from Imagine. It's got Green Beret, Yi Ya Kung Fu, Ping Pong, and Hyper Sports. Some really good games there. And Chicken Chase. We've got Tooth Invaders, Choplifter, and Load Runner. Now, this is funny because I don't know where my copies are. I don't know where my ones are. It took me ages to get the Load Runner and the Choplifter cartridges, and now I've got two. I'll have to do some sort of giveaway with these, so stay tuned. Of course, we've got the Commodore 64 user manual. Another compilation tape. Yep, tape. It's got Gauntlet, Ace of Aces, Winter Games, Leaderboard, Infiltrator, Face Maker. Oh, you should make faces with it. This is like a drawing program. Learning is fun. Actually, this is pretty good. Oh, that's a bit of a bonus. Also, Attack of the Mutant Camels, the Red Ribbon Game Pack. This has got Electro World, Poga, Zygon Warrior, Best the Bug Bites Back, Bojo, and the Android. Literally have not played any of those games before. This is the haul from the local op shop. It's November 1988. TV shows like Charles in Charge and My Two Dads are very popular. Ronald Reagan is the President of the USA, while Margaret Thatcher is the Prime Minister of the UK. Ted Turner buys NWA and turns it into the legendary WCW. Okino Flow by Enya is the #1 single in the UK, and these were the top 10 selling Amiga games according to Gallup UK for the month of November 1988. At number 10, Platoon. Based on the movie of the same name, it was developed by Ocean. At number 9, Starglider. Firebird released Starglider in April 1987 and is doing well to be still on the charts in November 1988. At number 8, Bard's Tale 2. Electronic Arts continues with their very successful Bard's Tale turn-based franchise. At number 7, Zoom. Discovery Software International released this strategy puzzle arcade style game in November 1988. At number 6, Bionic Commando. Capcom USA was smashed by the magazines of the time. Number 5, Menace. This is an R-type style game with 6 visually stunning levels to play. At number 4, Carrier Command. Rainbird released this game in 1988. It was one of the first real-time strategy games ever released. At number 3, Interceptor. Amiga Computing Review rated it 96%, stating it was the greatest Amiga game ever. At number 2, Virus. In 1988, aliens have infested the Earth with a virus. Your job is to clean it up. And the number 1 game for November 1988, following on from Starglider 1 being at number 9, we have Starglider 2. It was the best-selling game for the month of November 1988. This month on YouTube, the 8-bit guy gets a Commodore SX64, Retrobit's 1541-2 disk drive hides a terrible secret, Action Retro finds his ultimate Commodore 64, You Really Play That? Undertakes an Ultimate 64 Elite C64 project, Forgotten Computer has an extensive video called Amiga 4000T, the best Amiga in the world, and RMC, the Retro Man Cave, has a really sweet sounding Amiga 600 DJ set with Hoffman. And that's the Commodore Computer Show for November. Thanks for watching and tune in next month.